thingies.
Yes, there's three of them.
Well, I actually
Hello, everybody. I should have showed Dee the kittens before we went on the air, but that's not my style. Hey, it's your boy Sean. It's Happy WrestleMania Day, everybody. I guess that's a thing that we actually say to each other now. So good job, Vince McMahon.
Yay.
Yeah. So I'm Sean. This is Dee. Hi, Dee.
Hi.
We are here, as we always are, after NXT TakeOver events. They're not always on WrestleMania Day, but it's a special double dip. So who knows what we might talk to. We're definitely going to talk about TakeOver. And, yeah, we'll go from there. So how the heck are you, Dee?
I'm actually totally calm and having a nice morning. I only woke up like an hour ago. So being on the West Coast, this is 10 a.m. in the morning for me, and you guys, it's like the afternoon. But it doesn't matter because we all get to see WrestleMania at the same time. And for me, the pre-show starts at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I think it might start while we're talking now. I don't even know. It's gonna be long.
It's gonna be a huge day. Did they pick up another match to be in the pre-show, or did they just move the ladies' match?
No, they just moved the ladies.
Oh, all right.
Rumors are that they did the math and they found out they had more time, or the flip side of that, they're just going to cut 10 minutes off the women's match, and then everybody's going to be mad about that. But
and then whatever, we just we could just forget the whole SmackDown tag title. They don't need a match or anything.
No, they're in they get the consolation prize of being in the Andre. So
stuff. What else? This is a TakeOver show. We can save WrestleMania for later.
That's true. And it's all 7. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think they should just get rid of the pre-show. Just make the whole thing WrestleMania, and then there's no complaints. I don't know.
Yeah, but
anyway, that's a whole other topic. Yeah, that's anyway, so yesterday was TakeOver. I don't know. How did you So I'll just say my review is already out there for the public. I'll probably change my mind 16 times. I'm a notorious fence sitter. But I liked it a lot. And actually, watching it and trying to cover it along with sort of keeping an eye on the Ring of Honor show to see what the Hardys were up to, I wasn't sure I liked it that much. I went into writing the review thinking I was going to give it a B or a B+, and I ended up talking myself into an A- just mostly because the tag match was sublime, and I couldn't give a show that had that match on it not an A. But that was sort of my overall thoughts. How was it for you?
I thought it was a really kind of up and down sort of show. Like, I was actually really hyped for the first match. I know that it was kind of a hot mess, but and I knew
by design. I mean, 8-man intergender tag that is kind of equals hot mess, right? That's what.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look who's involved. Like, let's be real. It was going to be kind of a total cluster, but whatever. I mean, I guess I had picked the Team Dillinger to win, and I kind of hoped, but of course they didn't, and that's typical.
This is the only match in our predictions that I think I had 7 people give us predictions for Cage Side's post. Everybody, no, that's not true. Reverend Kane, that dirty dog, he did pick Sanity, but everybody else, I think it's the only one that was like 6 or 7. And honestly, I'm going to out Reverend Kane here because he filled that in when I didn't know what the match was going to be. I left it blank in case it was like, just Ty versus Eric again, or if it was just Ruby versus Nikki. And he had written the exact same thing and picked XXX because I had XXX versus XXS. So he didn't even change it. He just wanted to write Sanity in there. So I don't even know if that counts as a pick. But anyway, I think it was 6 of 7 picked, Team Good Guys on this one. So a lot of people were surprised.
I was actually surprised by I guess I hadn't been paying attention, and so I didn't know that the No Way Jose thing was a thing until
I missed it too, and it's my job, so don't feel bad.
Okay, because I was like, oh my god, okay, and then I was like, oh well, it's gonna be Chris here. Sorry, Cassius. Oh no, it's just what I was like. I knew that's who it was gonna be because he was like a new thing, and they, obviously they wanted, and I know you were hoping for Hideo Itami, but
I don't. No, I mean,
I knew instantly who it was gonna be. Like as soon as they said it, I was like, oh, I know who it's gonna be. It's gonna be that guy. I think I said Chris Hero to my roommate, but whatever, Cassius. What are we supposed to? Is it really Cassius? Are they really?
It really is. And when I'm writing, I always want to call him KO again for short, and we can't do that anymore because there's now a much more high-profile KO on the main roster. So
Yeah, he's kind of
he's
that guy's kind of a big deal. So I don't
yeah, a little
know.
bit, yeah, a little bit. So I don't know. Oh yeah, I guess Oh No, that's his song. You know, that's the chantable hook.
Oh no, oh no, whatever.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, he was the guy.
So
Yep.
yeah, I knew that was what was going to happen. I thought it was actually it was a fun match, you know? I mean, it was, like I
Mhm.
said, a mess, but it was fun. I thought that actually everybody looked really like character wise, everybody looked on, you know, they were doing good. And I
Mhm.
think it was nice to hear people actually getting behind Roderick Strong.
Yes.
You know, the Roddy chants, I was just like, oh, finally somebody gives a shit. It was nice. I mean, you know, he has no real character, but
But this was
he's
like
still
this
good.
was a reason to root for him a lot more than just what in San Antonio he just faced Almas, which was a pretty good match, but we didn't have any reason to like think that they actually disliked each other, and they've done a pretty good job of making us not like Sanity, I guess, in that good heel way. So
Well,
I
that
guess
was
that
one thing
helped.
that was really nice that we got, you know, that the heels were booed and the
Hmm.
faces were cheered. And that's, you don't really see that pretty much anywhere else on the card, just that one place. Like they
It's
didn't
really
even boo Almas.
it's really the power of Ty Dillinger, I think. Honestly, I mean, I say that sort of as a joke, but
Mm-hmm.
not really. I mean, people even you, a dyed in the wool, heel girl, loves
Mm-hmm.
you some
Oh,
Ty. I mean,
I love Ty Dillinger. I cheered when and I was like, oh my God, listen to the crowd. Oh my God, that's so exciting. They popped so wild for him. And I was so
yeah.
happy for him. And all I could think is, are you going to be in NXT forever? Is this it?
Yeah,
Is this how it's going to be for you? Well,
yeah, and maybe jerking the curtain in NXT forever. This bummed me out a lot. I mean, I'm getting worked and I'm a mark, whatever you call me, whatever you want. But it's true.
mm-hmm.
I really thought I had it all worked out in my head that this was going to Ty was finally going to get a takeover win, and this was going to move him up. I feel like the Dillinger Rude feud is a big. That's a big
There's still
deal.
money there. There's still
Yes,
money there.
but we can't do it if Ty can't enter it when he still hasn't even won a single match on a takeover card,
Yeah, what the hell?
right? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I
mm.
mean, is this the end of this feud though? I mean, what's gonna happen next? I don't
Probably not. I mean, this is a feud that cries out for like, let's get Young and Dillinger in a steel cage, right? I mean, because
right?
again, he finally had. I mean, it was. I really did like this match, and I could probably like it more in retrospect. They told a good story with it. I mean, it got
They
down
did.
to where it looked like Ty was going to get his hands on Dillinger, but then first Nikki and then Dane, which this match made Dane look like a big deal. Which now we know he's going to be in the Andre tonight, so I guess that's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why. But
Year of the
I
beef.
mean,
Yep.
he was flying around throwing that beef all over the place
Mm-hmm.
and got the clean pin on, well, relatively clean on
Yeah, with
Dillinger
his crotch
here.
right in his face. Every time I see that, I start laughing. Like I don't care who is the person that did it. It's just every time I see that, I'm like,
That's
let me just put my dick on your face, man.
no, I don't think that's a crotch I want on my face, and not just
Dude,
because
no.
I mean, and I'm not being homophobic here. That's a big hairy area. I think
That's a lot of hair and a lot of boobs, and even I'm just kind of like that's
it
intimidating.
has to get like sweaty and like it's probably ugh.
Dude, for real, like that can't be sanitary. Just saying. I mean, it's not like Bray
Sanitary.
Wyatt where he's wearing pants, you know, and he likes to do the same
Right.
thing. But yeah, no,
Ugh.
that one I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, all right, all right, get off of him now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's insult to injury right there. Not only.
Yeah.
Uh,
It looked great though. I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed the match. I had fun the whole time watching it, and you know, I of course was disappointed by the end. Like Ty's like sad, like leg kind of kicking, like he was dying, and maybe he
yeah.
was. We don't know. I mean, so I don't know. I liked that match, and I really just wished for a different ending, but it wasn't a bad ending. It really truly established Sanity as just dominant as fuck. I mean, they
Oh
were really
yeah.
dominant, and
Yeah.
that's good. That they need that. They need somebody who's like a true heels,
Yep.
and I think that this works out really well.
What did you think about that it ended up being traditional WWE mixed tag where like if Nikki tagged out, Ruby had to tag out too? Did that take you out of it at all or
Well, it didn't take me out. I was a little
no?
disappointed because it really looked like for a second there, the was like, "I'll fight this dude. Come on," you know. And
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be great. And it was nice that the ladies did get to jump the dudes later, just kind of like hanging on and like, no, no, you know. But
Yep.
it would have been, eventually it would be nice to see, to see. I don't think that this was probably the best place to like work that in yet, but I mean they can do it. I think they need to do it more slowly because you had some really big
Right.
dudes in there, and I
Yeah.
know that some people get really freaked out when you have men hitting women, and which
Yep. Yep.
is understandable.
I understand. I don't. Yeah. I'm always of the opinion that wrestling to me is kind of like a superhero movie or a comic book, so I can separate it. But I also don't have like a history of domestic abuse, firsthand experience
Same.
or anything. So I understand for people for whom that's upsetting. It's just I don't feel that way, but I'm not going to say you're wrong for feeling that way.
I mean, I personally think that either of those ladies that were in that match could take any of those guys, really. But
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to fight either one of them. So
no,
not
I
that
thought
I'm
that they
tough or
both.
anything, but
I thought that that both Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross came out looking like they're going to be a big deal, and I think
Yep.
that's like I said, I felt that match did pretty much everything that it was meant to accomplish, at least in my opinion. Everybody looked good.
Yep.
Even if it was, like I said, even if it was a mess, everybody looked good. Story was well told. And I think it sets up a lot. I mean, it sets up a lot of. There's a lot of potential for the future. Like they could go in a lot of different directions. We just don't know yet. What
Yeah, I think. I mean, I definitely. I mean, it was weird because I feel like they've sort of presented Cassius Ohno as being a bigger deal, but he didn't get. I mean, the guy that got the big deal reaction last night, other than Dillinger, was Roddy, which was, like you said, was nice. It's been weird that even though he's like from Florida and has been an independent, standout wrestling coast to coast for 10 years, that he's gotten these sort of muted NXT TV reactions. So it was nice to finally see them catch on, but it was kind of weird that Ono didn't seem to do much for them.
Yeah, no, I think it was maybe the crowd was just like, oh, we were hoping for Hideo Itami like you.
Or
And
maybe they were like us and they were like,
"Aw."
where's No Way Jose? We were ready to dance.
Yeah, like I missed the dancing action, that's my exercise during the beginning of the match. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. I mean it was better. I think it certainly was better with probably with Cassius.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Jose at this point, but I'm not a huge fan, and I think I mean, unfortunately, they kind of book him the same way they booked Dillinger, which is like you're a mid card guy. I mean, Dillinger's a more popular mid card guy, I guess, but.
Well, he's just got so much energy, and you can see it and you can feel it, and that's something that really engages you. Now, on the he doesn't go overboard with it like Mojo Rawley, bless his heart, who like when he does it, I'm like please stop, please stop, please stop, because again I feel bombarded by his energy, but Ty does it in such a way that kind of drags you along, and I think that's kind of also what makes him so easy to love, because his energy is infectious instead of overwhelming, which is good.
Instead of nauseating. How it should be. Right.
And he doesn't, frequently wear horrific colors or zoomies.
No, I mean the collar is a little weird, but it's still
the collar is like, I hate that. That's the one thing about him. I'm like, all right, you don't need that. You can, I mean, you can have like tails or something. I'm like, make it less of like it's like a crop jacket with a giant. The collar is as big as the jacket.
Yeah,
like he may as well be wearing a bolero and like.
Now that we're talking about this, the fact that I love Ty Dillinger is pretty amazing, because that annoys me, and the haircut annoys the hell out of me. It's like, no, whatever this sort of like late 90s boy band, like, hair sculpting thing you've got going on, just stop it. But I love him anyway. So
I know. Like he's one of the few like good guys that I'm like, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of a heel girl.
Because at this point, he doesn't really fit. I mean, I don't know. Even the Perfect 10 gimmick he's never going to get rid of it because it's so catchy, but it doesn't. I mean, the story is that I'm this underdog who can't win. And then he's got this gimmick where I'm the perfect one.
One day he'll win something. He has to.
I just want him to have sort of like a Sami Zayn, like he won the title for one day and then, somebody can beat him the next night. He should be that sort of Dusty Rhodes guy that chases forever, and you get one moment, and then he gets screwed out of it, and the chase resumes. But we need that one moment,
like the Zack Ryder thing last WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
That was perfect. That was my favorite moment last year, in a relatively not great show.
Every time, I mean, I know we're going to focus on NXT, but every time I look back at last year, I'm like, first of all, I don't really remember much of this, and then second of all, what I do remember, I didn't want to remember.
Yeah.
it was not that great a show. They don't have much to do to top last year, I don't think, tonight. So
Yeah, no, last year
which
was
is
a
good for them.
disaster. Anyways, so
Yes, so yeah, I thought I'm very much looking forward to Ruby versus Nikki. I guess that was my thing with the intergender. I'm kind of in the same place you are, to jump back to that discussion. Is it didn't ruin it for me, but I almost wish you would have just booked them in a singles match and we could have. But I get that it's better to sort of tease that along. But so mission accomplished, NXT, because I really want to see those two.
Totally.
Did Ruby? I haven't gone back. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch this match again yet. I watched the 3 title bouts a second time, so I would have something to actually say to you. But I think it looked to me like, just in glancing at it, she took like the bump that took her out of the picture looked kind of nasty, and I haven't heard anything today, so I'm assuming she's all right. But
yeah, I haven't heard anything either. I mean, it did look pretty brutal, but what a great.
Yeah,
what a great spot that was. It was. I mean,
the two of them throw each other around, throw their bodies around so much that they all kind of look like that. So
yeah, and for all we know, she was.
Are
you all right?
That was a kitten spilling my water, but hey, that's what happens.
So you got to have like bottled water.
I know, and the missus told me, she's like, if you do this in here, they're gonna spill your stuff. I'm like, I'll be fine, and that's what happens. That's why I'm dumb and I should listen to the women in my life. So anyway.
But yeah, no, I think I haven't heard anything either, and unless we do, one can only assume that either she's totally fine or it's really, really bad. But I think if it was, really bad, that there would be some.
Yeah, I think something would have leaked out or something.
Yeah, totally.
Somebody would have had a report. Who knows? But yeah, it was. Hey, I mean, but yeah, they did with kind of a limited amount of time last night. I think they made a really good impression and whetted everybody's appetite for more of them. So, good job, Nikki and Ruby.
Yeah,
that's so awesome that they're like gonna be big stars. That's pretty cool.
You look like a proud papa.
It is. I mean, it's like 5 years ago, if you would have said that, people that look like them had a chance to be big WWE stars, everybody would have said no way. So,
you're totally. Well, gosh, I was just thinking about that. In general, I just love like all the like differing body types that are around. And I think when Triple H was talking about the diversity thing the other day, that's really what he was talking about. It's like all the different sizes and the shapes, and everybody is. Like that's the diversity. It's not like about race or whatever.
The nationality or race. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean because like look at how tiny Nikki Cross is, and like look how hairy and big and then bringing Cassius Ohno back and the only person who looked like normal, like you would think would be a regular like wrestler was Ty Dillinger, and I guess Roderick Strong too. But aside from them, though, everybody looks really different. They're not particularly like conventionally gorgeous or anything like that. Like they're not Roman Reigns, but who is? So,
right.
But anyways, it was really nice to see that kind of diversity.
You can have Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. You can have Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I'm getting me a Nia Jax figure, by the way.
I know.
Thing looks boss.
I know. First, it's one of the better looking like sculpts they've ever done, I think. It looks like her. You can identify her immediately. A lot of times they've got like weird faces and stuff, but yeah.
Like that Lana that looks like John Cena dressed up as Hillary Clinton. Ooh, good God.
Yes, that one, for instance. Absolutely.
Ooh,
yep.
My God. Oh. Having said that, though, if you get your hands on the Dash and Dawson figures, those are perfect. They look exactly like them, and good. I mean, well, except for their bodies are a little bit like more svelte than the real thing, but their faces are dead on and beautiful. And I have 2 sets, so I could play with one.
Nice.
Because I'm a big nerd.
Hey, own it. And hey, Dash Wilder is a good-looking man. I don't care what anybody says. He's got.
I think they're both good-looking dudes.
They're both good-looking, but I just think Dash is like he's got like a chunky Ryan Gosling thing going on. I'm telling you, he's a pretty man.
He's pretty good looking. I don't know. I like Scott Dawson's sparkly eyes. He has the
Yeah, Dawson does
sparkliest
have beautiful
eyes.
eyes. That is true.
Like those are sparkly. I mean, like my God, just they glitter, and I'm like, wow. His kids are gonna be. His daughter is already really cute, but like if she full on inherits those eyes, she'll just like dazzle the world. I'm like, that's awesome. Whatever.
All
So
right.
on to the next match.
We haven't even gotten to the
Stop
tag
talking about
match, and
sparkly.
we're mooning over the revival already.
Their beautiful faces and eyes. Oh my gosh. Anyways, next, yes.
So next was Aleister Black and Andrade Cien Almas.
Yeah, I was actually glad. Okay, I was actually glad that the outfit that almost came out and was basically what he was going to wrestle in. Which
Mhm.
sometimes we've seen him rip off the clothes and you're wearing something completely different, and I'm like, well, why didn't you just wear that? Well,
Right.
he did this time, and it was nice, and he's also, speaking of handsome, what
Oh
a
yeah.
good dude. Like
Yeah.
striking. My God, like it's just a shame that they were hiding that in a mask for so long. I'm like,
I
wow,
know.
like that's insane. But I liked Alistair. I think everybody liked Alistair Black's his entrance with the kind of like I'm rising from the grave shit, which was
Mhm.
kind of cool. I mean, it was cool. I was, but I was actually, I really liked it looked like all the candles in the alcoves and stuff. Like he
Right.
was literally in a, I was like, that's neat. That was well done. And I was just waiting for the one thing that kind of baffled me, I guess, in this was I was just waiting for him to like get going because
Mhm.
he took a lot of damage, which is fine. But I was
Yeah.
just surprised that it wasn't a little more even. It was very one-sided, almost for quite a while, and he actually looked really good.
Right.
So I mean, the fact that he lost was not because he basically like from the way that I kind of got it was that like he was winning until, or he was going with it until Aleister Black got his kicks in. As soon as that was,
Right.
then it was like all over. So it was like, okay, well that's obviously like his thing. So I guess that was pretty cool, but I don't know, it wasn't a terribly exciting match, which
Yeah.
kind of was bummed me out.
Yeah. I kind of thought that this might be a little bit bigger. This is the troublemaker who just see.
Oh my God, you're the cutest. Ooh.
I don't even. These guys don't even really. Julie's given them names. I'm not as attached to them because we actually had a mother with them to foster them this time, so I didn't have to bottle feed any of them. So I'm not super bonded to them, but they are
Oh,
adorable.
baby.
There's 3 little black babies. Yeah, I kind of hoped that this would get a little. I don't know. I had a. I guess at this point, this is kind of what we should expect from the NXT debut match. Is they're going to get about 10 minutes. Um, it's going to be even more even than you think it should be, and then the guy that's debuting is going to win at the end. I thought the entrance was dope. I liked that a lot. I think he sort of seemed like maybe he was a little nervous or something at first. I don't know. But maybe that was the story they were telling because, like you said, it was a lot of Almas at first, and I thought he did great with that. I mean, he's really it's spots we're used to now, the charging into the corner and the slapping and all that stuff. But it's
You know what? I never get tired of that one. I laugh
oh, I don't
every
either.
time.
That was great, and he hammed it up last night with the big yeah, he's really. I hope I wrote in the review. I really hope he's in line for a push. Although I say that about half the NXT roster, so they can't push everybody. But man, he's been after that bumpy start where they tried to make him a face against Dillinger, he's just gotten better at I
That
guess
was
maybe
their
working without a
mistake.
match. It really was for both guys. I mean, they didn't. I guess it ended up helping Ty in the long run, but
Well, it became quite clear at that point that the crowd was not going to accept him as anything but the good guy.
right.
Because they were like, we love him.
He's so dreamy. Um,
He's a good looking
He's a
dude.
good
I
looking
mean,
dude too. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the story, and we all knew the story too. We'd seen him with the Jason Jordan partnership earlier, and you know,
oh yeah, I
I mean,
remember
even
that. Like I didn't think,
yeah,
yeah. All right. I mean, whatevs.
exactly.
Anyways, so the match was fine.
Yeah.
Everybody looked fine. You know
I
what
think
actually bothered me was the crowd because they kept like it was like every time there was a spot they would just clap. They were just
was this
like,
the match where something happened where like one part of the crowd chanted something and the other part chanted "shut the fuck up" or something?
yeah,
The crowd was
yeah.
weird until the tag match. The crowd they weren't quiet, but they weren't into it either. It was a weird
They're just
vibe.
like, well, this is a show.
Yeah. This
Oh,
is
look,
good.
they've done something. Clap.
Which, in their defense, I mean, probably half of these people were on their like third wrestling show of the weekend already, and still have Mania and maybe Raw to go. So it's a lot of wrestling right now. So I'm not going to judge,
Yeah,
but I am going to judge.
I couldn't. I mean, I'm too old for that shit. I don't know how other people do it, but I was like, I was thinking, maybe I should do WrestleMania this year, and I was like, there's so many, no, you know what? I'm gonna stay home.
Yep.
I'm gonna just stay home and watch it on TV. I'm gonna watch it on TV and be in my pajamas and like,
Yep.
have some booze and enjoy myself. Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm gonna do.
I don't even feel there was a period of time. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you are. There was a period of time where I sort of felt bad about that was how I wanted to consume a lot of things now. Like I go to less concerts. I don't like to go to a lot of sporting events because I can sit at home. And now I'm to the point where it's like I don't even debate it anymore. It's just like I guess someday I'll get because I actually have never been to a Mania. So at some point I'll do it as a bucket list thing, but it's going to need to be one that's closer to my house. I mean, I'm not doing all of this. I watch wrestling Twitter and like the people that are like have been there since Tuesday, and I'm just like, nope, not a chance.
Like I don't have the energy for that. Like, I'm like watching like dramas unfold on Twitter and thinking to myself, holy shit, I couldn't do this. Like I would just be like, nope, I'm noping out. I'm gonna go just sit in my hotel room in the bathtub or something. I'm gonna take advantage of the spa downstairs. And that's pretty
Exactly.
much. And I think that's what happens when you get older is like I'm at the age where I'm kind of like I feel bad that I don't go out and do more things, but I do go to a lot of indie shows in the area.
You do. You're better than
And I mean, you kind of have to when you live here and you've got something as good as like All Pro Wrestling around,
Yeah.
and like anyways, well, we can talk about that later. But anyways, my point is, so back to this match.
Right.
Back to
Well,
this match.
it did actually. Yeah, we did start to go on this tangent from Takeover. So I don't know. I don't really have any. I would like to see these guys wrestle more. I think it would be I think Black / Tommy End's like anti satanic anti-hero gimmick would go well with Almas's the whole El Idolo thing. Like I'm the best. So I think there's a good natural conflict there, and I'd like to see more of it. And I don't know what else even got.
I'm actually pretty surprised that they let.
I know.
I mean, like the character, that's special, and I gotta, because for a while, surely they were steering clear of things like that. But I guess when you've got like, your world champion bathing in somebody's ashes, right. That you're pretty much open to anything at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Randy's driving something that looks like everything they didn't want to call it a crucifix, but he's driving that into graves, and yeah, I guess maybe it goes back to the diversity thing that's it's not just they're going to tell a bunch of different kind of stories, and they're okay with that they'll tell the reality era stuff or the straightforward like sports competition angle, but they'll also tell the occasional power of Satan story. Okay.
Hey, and one day you don't know what's going to happen. It could be Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt for the Universal Champion, and
and the soul of Sister Abigail or something. Yeah, that would be
resurrecting the dead man. I mean, no, let's not do that. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not giving any ideas for free there.
Yeah.
For all
right. So this was okay. So I think we're pretty much on the same page through the first two matches. We're like, okay, this is all right.
Which I was more excited for the first one, but
I don't think that's that unusual for a takeover either, though. It's right.
It's always all about the championship belts,
right?
With NXT, like the championships are important, whereas you don't always feel that on the main roster. In NXT, right. the titles are always. Those are important. So having that is a big deal, and those matches are always a big deal. More so, I think. Depending on who's holding them, like is which one I feel is the more important one. Like no offense to Asuka and Bobby Roode, I love you guys, but it was all about the tag match last night.
Yeah,
and that was the big deal. Like, how long did that match end up going? Did you happen to write that down? I didn't.
I have it. I gotta find it. I know the men's title was about a half an hour, so I think.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, like 20.
I thought it felt long, but
yeah. Which is kind of what they went in San Antonio too.
But I was, you know what? I was more into that match than I was into last night's. I feel like I don't
25 about it. Well, I had it at 24 something, and I'm not as good at this as our resident timekeeper. I had this at 24, and I had the men's at 28.
know.
Yeah, a lot.
That's a
So
pretty
they're
good.
weighted that way. I mean, that's the way the build is set up too. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that made the tag. I guess we can transition into the tag one right now. It's what we really want to talk about anyway.
It's true.
Is NXT, I guess one of the knocks on NXT, I think, is that maybe that the titles are the only thing that they're fighting over. Like with, there's not a lot of personal animosity between Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura at this point, a little bit, but mostly they're fighting over getting the belt because that means you're the man, which is old school and I like it. But I think also in the tag match, you had that, plus you had these layers of personal rivalry. I mean, there's a reason why you don't like DIY so much. It's because they're the yang to your boys yin. So
My guys, my top guys.
the top guys, please don't be out or be out, whatever you got to be. But
I know you're just like
I'm so
I kind of-
conflicted.
I want to keep them, but
I know. I mean,
money.
I
I
just
want them
look
to
at-
have
I
good
see-
things, but
I see what has happened to every other tag team that's gone up, and I'm like, just stay here. You're not going to get 25 minutes to do an elimination triple threat on the main roster ever.
Oh, see, but that's the thing that the hope that kills is that you're like, but if they were there,
True.
maybe they would.
True. I feel a little bit bad. I feel like I don't have enough confidence in Dash and Dawson. Like I should believe more that they're the ones that will go and change it. But I get worried. I'm a worrier.
Well,
And
I
plus,
think
I have Gino in my ear telling me I don't have characters, blah, 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 so I can't.
they totally have characters.
I know, right?
What are you talking about?
I know, but he doesn't.
What are you talking
He
about?
actually watched Takeover last night because he had to live blog it. So I'll pick his brain about it a little bit tomorrow when we do a WrestleMania CSL.
I'm sure he'll just be like, no.
But he was like, I don't even know if I can live blog this. I haven't watched NXT in so long. Well, then how do you know they don't have characters?
Yeah.
Sorry. I get defensive about him, but so yeah, this match ruled all kinds of ways.
Like if the whole show had just been this match, A++. I mean, it was as good as I expected. I mean, because like I said on the very first show that we ever did together, the Revival does not have just okay matches. They don't have things that are just they're fine. They don't have those. They're at least very good. At least very good, because they are the best tag team in the universe, really. I mean, let's be honest. That they're the best. They are the best. Period. So of course they were gonna have a good match, and DIY went out first, just like I wanted, because screw those guys.
You cracked me up with that. Even your prediction was like, I don't care what happens as long as it's not those. And I remember I was a fan of their promo on a couple weeks ago. They did what I thought was a really good traditional, like a Rock and Roll Express kind of a babyface promo, and you were in the comments of my review, like, yeah, fuck those guys.
I was like, oh,
I wanted to punch them.
Just like, oh, shut up. Just with their post thing, and they're like, we're still looking for our moment, because Toronto wasn't enough. You had the tag match, you had the match of the year, you won the tag belts from the best tag team in the universe, but you're still looking for your moment. Go fuck yourself. Done with you, for real.
Hey, God damn it.
I said that to you earlier, and I mean it.
And you're still,
like,
believe me, she means it. I can tell. Yes. So how did you feel when?
Oh my God.
Those guys don't
Hi,
have
Gino.
characters. Those guys don't have
It's a
characters.
run in. It's a Gino run in.
Those guys don't have characters. How
Gino.
dare you speak ill of me on this show that you think I don't listen to? I hear everything, Sean Rudiger. I got in and told him, send me the Hangout link, and his response was, no. D, how are you?
I'm good, Gino. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm exhausted because we've done 1 billion posts today, and it's noon.
It's WrestleMania Day. Happy WrestleMania Day.
No.
He wouldn't just be able to say thanks, happy. No,
You too enjoy the show. And
it's
D's
a
like,
burden, and I know it. I totally relate. You sell it better.
and D's one of those like really happy-go-lucky wrestling fans, like when it's time to be excited and not like us, cynical and jaded and shitty. So I'm sorry, D. No, I did live blog the show last night, and I actually came on to say that I'm going. What's the term? Mea culpa.
Mhm,
Is that it?
that
Is that
works.
right?
Yep.
You, D, and you, Sean, were right. They sold me completely. Really,
Wow.
the only match on the show that I gave any fucks about was the tag match, and a lot of that had to do with the Revival. So I've long said there's not much to them. I mean, they're kind of, the arrogant, jackasses. They'll just kick your ass, which you'd think I'd like that, but I don't know. Something about them just never clicked with me. And then the match last night was fucking awesome. So many cool spots. And they're really good. They're actually really good. When I'm actually paying attention, what do you know?
There you go.
So
He's
yeah,
sharp. It's wonderful.
I offer my sincerest apologies. You guys are Sean. You don't hear this.
You don't
often.
have to apologize. I don't hear that. I'm stunned into silence.
You don't hear this often, Sean.
In fairness, a mea culpa from me. A lot of times you're right. We just talked. I mean, you were pretty much right about American Alpha. I was like, oh, they'll be fine on the main roster. They have characters, and that hasn't proven to be true. So
I said,
which is a little bit why
I think I could have
was
told
a little
you that,
bit
Sean.
worried about. Well, and I think we agreed on that. I thought they'd fuck up Bailey too. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to dominate this with that.
Sure.
But that's a little bit why I'm a little bit worried about the Revival, because I do think that in NXT, American Alpha had better characters and they did have a better connection to fans, and that didn't pay off. So that's a little bit why I get concerned about the Revival call up, is because, and like I said to D, I think I should probably have more confidence in Dash and Dawson, but that's a big ocean to fight against up there, full of sharks and idiots. And
you know why it's gonna be possibly easier for the Revival, because it's a lot easier to hate somebody than it is to love somebody.
True.
And there's a lot that you don't have to love about American Alpha. Like, I don't love
Who's the
them.
bald one?
That's Scott Dawson.
Dawson. I want him to get shot out of a cannon into the sun.
I could tell D was a little bit shocked and a little indignant that you had to ask that question. I could tell in her answer. She was like, "That's Scott Dawson."
Well, I'm doing the live blog, and I'm like,
like
to go to the Cage Side office. It's like, Sean, which one of the authors of Pain is this?
Well, a lot of people have the Authors of Pain problem, but the Revival, I mean, one of them is a hirsute, gorgeous, chubby Ryan Gosling, and the other one is a bald, gorgeous, sparkly-eyed Scott Dawson. Easy to tell them apart.
The thing about it too is it's funny because they talk about, well, the Hardys might be coming in, they should go to SmackDown. The Revival, they should go to SmackDown. It's like, do you watch SmackDown? Their tag champs are in the fucking Andre Battle Royal. Like, they don't have a tag division. They have two teams who are fighting forever. And then the most over team that they had was thrown together and was all about Heath Slater living in a trailer with a big old refrigerator of a wife. Like, that's
he got
their
kids, and he's obviously needs money to have an above ground pool,
which is great. I'm not talking down on that. I mean, I thought it was awesome.
That was actually a good story. I really
that was the best tag story until I'm a pretty big fan of the shithead Usos, but until that,
they are actually great. But yeah, they don't get time, so it's like there's a part of you that's like, well, maybe they get there and they force them to give them time, or it's a reason to actually tune in, or they make it into something better. But there's also that, well, it's WWE, so what are they gonna? I mean, are they really gonna book the Revival versus American Alpha and give them 20 minutes to start a show or to finish a show, or even the mid-main event? Or not mid-main event, that's done. That's what they call it. But the middle of the show, the top of the second hour, whatever. Like, are they really going to do that? I don't know. And you don't want them to go up and then end up like the fucking Vaudevillains, who I don't even know if they've been on a main roster program for like 4 months.
They get thrown into the multi-man shit, or but otherwise, no.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
That's what I'm worried. I mean, because even the main event that the tag teams got, they were doing the fucking NWO thing where we were cutting to Shane walking in the back in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
I thought that was so insulting. I was like, that shows that you do not give a single shit about these people, which, I mean, at least that's the impression that it gives me as somebody who's watching the show, as opposed to you don't dedicate the time to them. You don't give them time. You haven't been on the show for how long, and you think this is fine? No thanks.
I mean, the rumor is that Vince doesn't think tag team wrestling makes money, and I've had arguments with people online where there's data to back that up. So I don't know. But
Well, and it's one of those things too, where you go, well, it doesn't make money. Well, yeah, but how much opportunity is there for it to make money? Like if you don't cultivate it, of course,
Right.
it's never going to. Like you can't. But then it is a single star driven kind of business. I mean, you look back as even the most important tag teams in history. It's not like they're super huge draws. And then again, the Hardys are selling out, doing big numbers with Ring of Honor, with the Bucks of Youth. I don't know any of the singles guys in Ring of Honor, but I know those two teams. So.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know
It just
Jay
depends
Lethal.
on how it's
Come
approached.
on. You
Jay
know
Lethal,
some.
the Macho Man.
Dalton Castle.
Yeah, the Black Machismo. He probably doesn't know Dalton Castle, but I bet he knows
How
anybody.
could you? Oh,
He
come
knows
on.
people who were in TNA. He knows.
I know Dalton Castle. Great footwork, good ring presence,
Oh my God.
solid rope work.
Chino, please.
That's my cue to get out of here. You're talking Ring of Honor. I'm getting the hell out of here. But I wanted to come on and say, D, you were right. Sean, you never hear this, so soak it in. You were right, Sean.
Oh, all right.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
buddy.
Chino.
Well, there you go.
Wow, Sean.
That was that of Drew McIntyre just showing up in the crowd.
Well, holy crap. Yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, oh, he looks nice.
I thought about
Oh, is
asking
he-
you Gino wants to come in. Is it okay? And then I figured, well, one, I don't want to piss him off too much, and two, it would be fun to see your reaction when he showed up. So, and it was. So,
Oh my gosh.
Gino run in.
Yay. It's a special show. It's a
It is
special show now.
It's wrestling Christmas.
It is though. I mean, this is
It really is.
this is the new year like badass thing that's going on, and fuck. You know what? I'm just like, my brain is like, I'm trying to talk, but in my head I'm like watching the match again, like
Yep.
like the tag match, and thinking to myself, everybody looked good. There was a lot of stuff that was, pandering to the crowd. Like because honestly, as soon as they did the first, like, we're gonna stand together against AOP at the very beginning, I was like, that's pandering, but good pandering, because I was totally like, yay, because I'm a big
Yep.
nerd. And I liked all the team up stuff. And I like to think that the only reason that the teams that DIY or Revival didn't win is because when they hit their finishers, they didn't hit them with their actual partner. And so therefore, if they had, if Dash and Dawson had hit the Shattered Machine together, that would have put AOP out, but they didn't.
I like that.
So they didn't
I
win.
didn't think about that. Yeah, I thought. It's interesting. I didn't get it. I was actually going to ask Gino, or not ask him, I guess. But it's just interesting to sort of compare that. For you and I think we got that this was an awesome match with cool spots, and the crowd was into it. But it also, it paid off the fact that we followed those two teams especially. But Authors of Pain too, the whole tag scene. But they do such a good job of that with the tag division, where it's like they pay off earlier stuff and it builds from that, and it always feels fresh. So it's interesting that Gino, with fresh eyes, is like, these guys finally convinced me. And we're like, of course they did, because what took you so long? But it's also
yeah.
it really was. It reminded me, the comic book nerd in me. It's like, it's when the Joker and Batman have to work together, whenever that happens, or when Lex Luthor and Superman finally have to work together, because they didn't want to do
makes
it.
more sense. Which makes more
DIY
sense.
didn't want to do it, but they saw that was their only move. And of course, Dash and Dawson, God love them, couldn't help themselves. And every time Gargano and Ciampa turned their back on them, they were like, well, we could take them out now too, because we hate them. It was wonderful.
No, it was great. Everything about that was great. And, you got to see everybody be good and everybody be kind of bad. And, and again, though, as green as Authors of Pain is, they looked like they could hang with these guys, which was really nice. And I think they looked even better in this than they did at San Antonio. And I think that I'm going to just give that prop to the Revival, because they don't have bad matches.
Yep.
And they don't have mediocre. They don't have even just good. They're always at least very good. And this was excellent. This was so much fun. And the only thing that was really disappointing was at the very end, there was no they didn't get their thank you Revival.
I know, right? Which they probably
kinda
wouldn't even want it, honestly, because they're
true. But
but they did get and it was, and that made it different. That everybody wanted it to come down to DIY Revival again. But like you said, we've seen that a bunch of times, and we saw DIY Authors of Pain. The only thing we've gotten of Authors of Pain versus the Revival were just a little couple run-in spots over the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
So this was, to give us this ending, which is what a lot of people didn't like, which I would maintain you weren't supposed to like it, at least not that way.
I did. But I'm weird.
Well, no, I know not you, but in general, like this was designed to, I think it makes the most sense if it's the Revival's farewell. They got to have a little bit of a crowd pleasing moment, but in service of making sure that the current heel champions are super heels and not, there's no doubt you're supposed to hate them. Wherever you hate them, you do. So I thought that was really great. I read a few other comments that people didn't even they thought the end was sloppy with Authors of Pain and Revival or whatever. But at that point, that's sort of the story. I mean, both teams had been beaten to an inch of their life, and I don't know. I mean,
that guy went through a table. They've been tied up in knots by both of the other teams.
Right.
Like, what do you want?
I mean,
what do you
Dawson
want?
has superplexed himself with Ciampa off the top onto the floor. I mean, everybody should.
That was awesome.
I mean, yeah, there were
like did you go? Oh yeah.
Oh, I think that was what I wrote in the review. Like the table spot, I screamed. The superplex spot, I just sort of stared blank at the screen. My favorite, I love the whole submission sequence is one of my.
Oh, dude, that was great, right?
When Razor came back in carrying, and then Ciampa and Dash went over to stop him, and he still got through them anyway. I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I just thought that was so inventive, and I mean, this is what tag wrestling should be. You've got more guys in the ring, so you can do more things. There are more angles and storytelling
that you wouldn't really be able to do with just one group of just two of those teams. You get three of them. You can this is how it should be done. And it's not like a crazy spot fest like you would have on the main roster. This is just hey, look at the variety. Look at what you could have main roster. Yep. This is what you could have. You just have to let it happen. Yep. And I don't know. I just feel like if the Revival is called up, which may happen, I don't think that DIY is going to get called up right away, but they might too.
Maybe, but yeah. But who would that leave though? I mean, I guess they started Heavy Machinery last week, but I mean that's it because the what's his name? Is it Shane Thorne that's injured from TM61?
Yeah. The blonde.
So I mean, there's not really. I mean, I guess Sanity could work as a tag team, any combination, but they're super heels, so that's not really going to make sense. I think. No, I think Gargano and Ciampa have to stay down. I think, but the Revival have probably done their duty.
Dude, they made the tag scene. It's okay, Sean.
I know. It's okay. Everybody keeps leaving my show. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean they're responsible for, wherever you think NXT is, the only reason it's not a lot worse is because of the tag scene and specifically really the Revival over the last year because they were the constant. They were the ones that feuded with American Alpha and then they picked up then when Gargano and Ciampa took that role, it was still the Revival. Those guys, after Bayley left and the women's era sort of ended, the Revival made the next era of NXT about tag wrestling, and I salute you, gentlemen.
You were the best. You are the
You're
best.
Awesome.
We love you.
Yeah.
And I hope you go to Raw if you go to any show. I hope that you go to Raw. Yeah. I think that's okay. First of all, there's plenty of teams on SmackDown as it is. They don't have enough time, and they don't
like
get
Gino
enough
said, not doing anything right.
Exactly. Then on the main roster, at least all of those. I mean, I'm sorry, on Raw, they get all of those teams get time. Even the weird Shining Stars occasionally get time.
Exactly.
But
we see Golden Truth and Shining Stars in matches sometimes. The team that's not doing anything on there wrestling wise is the New Day. Everybody else has some kind of little angle going.
But pretty much at this point they don't need to wrestle as a team. They can start. Honestly, they could just start going after individual.
That's what I hope someday. It would be nice.
But I mean. But it would be great to see, even though Sheamus and Cesaro are huge compared to Dash and Dawson, imagine the great match that those two teams could put on. If you are a wrestling fan and you want to watch some wrestling, that would be outstanding. Like, I don't know, I'm feeling that. And you know, I actually, when I was looking, speaking of that though, I know this is WrestleMania talk, but, and I'll just make it
That's all
brief,
right.
but
It's Christmas.
it's Christmas. But everybody was talking, you know, when you're talking about like who's going to win that triple threat ladder tag match nonsense that they have on the show tonight, I noticed that, you know, a lot of people were picking Enzo and Cass, and I was like, that's weird. Why would you? Because they never win shit.
Right.
But then I was like, you know what though? If Enzo and Cass win tonight, then maybe that means that the Revival will be going to Raw, because they will be able to make Enzo and Cass look really, really good like they have in the past.
And that's actually,
And
that's actually that might be the only feud that would make me want to hear more Enzo and Cass promos right now, just because I would love to hear Dash and Dawson riff off of whatever bullshit Enzo and Cass say.
But it would also cement, I mean, in a way, it would also cement the Revival as bad guys and like a big deal, because, you know, they're like, you know, we've beaten you like how many times, and, you know, and you're the champions now. Good for you. We're going to take those away from you because, you know, you guys can't beat us and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just think that possibly if they win tonight, that might be an indicator. Just saying. Maybe. I might be totally wrong.
We'll see. I'm down with reading tea leaves like that. I'll be interested.
That's logic though, and logic doesn't always apply.
Yeah,
to
that's
WWE.
true. Yeah, and that would be like a really good story, which also doesn't always apply to the main roster. So, and NXT sometimes too, but.
Anyways, bottom line, tag team match, greatest thing.
Go watch this if you haven't. Go watch it again if you have. I'm open to being surprised, but I think this is going to be my match of the weekend. I don't see what's going to top it tonight.
Yeah, me either. No. I mean, might storyline wise, maybe one of the other ones on WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some cool. I mean, if this is really Taker's last match, that kind of stuff. I mean, there's going to be bigger moments, maybe, but I don't see a better match.
The actual match. Yeah. No, I think that was probably going to be the match of the weekend, just like it was, you know, Survivor Series. And,
and Royal Rumble, and well, not Royal Rumble. Sorry, that was wrong. That's because they left somebody on the bench. It would have been the best match of Royal Rumble weekend, but
dude, and remember what we were saying last time? It's just the Revival wasn't there, so it wasn't quite as magical as it could have been. Just saying. Yep. Anyways, okay, so let's
move on to the ladies. Women's match. Yeah. What'd you think?
I actually got distracted in the middle of it and looked away on my phone.
Well, this one is, let me check I think I had this one at it was under 15 minutes. I had this one at 12 and a half minutes.
I thought it was a kind of a short match.
Yeah, it was, compared to the other two around it.
I did appreciate the ending, though. I liked that Asuka looked like it was possible that she sort of cheated, or if you want to look like, maybe she was like, "Oh, you're going to be in the way. I'm going to move you." You know, she could.
Which is all the best heel justification is. I wasn't. No, I had a reason. There was a logical. I was looking out for everybody.
I know people are mad that she didn't lose. You know, and they were like, "Oh, you know, Asuka didn't finally get beaten," and I was like, I didn't see her getting beaten until she has broken Goldberg's record, you know, until she is just like truly like the god empress of all of women's wrestling in NXT, and so
pretty much all of NXT. I mean, she's the longest reigning champ in the history of the brand, more than a year now. She's broken a year. Yeah, I didn't see her losing here, and I think it's the right call because I don't think they had done enough to build Ember up. I think
I agree. I agree.
Now Ember looks like somebody who can maybe hang, or is willing to do crazy enough stuff to, you know, inflict some damage on Asuka. She looked like she hurt her, and so now you can spend the next couple of months building to. I guess I don't know. We don't know if they're going to wait until Brooklyn, or if they're going to put, because last year this is where they put
the end.
Beginning of the end of whatever they called it, in between this one and the
that one was like sometime in June.
Right. So maybe they'll do that, or maybe we'll just have a long stretch. I don't know, but but I think you build to Ember finally beating her, I guess, next time. If Ember is the person, I think she might as well be. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it makes sense. It just depends on how they want Asuka to go out, I guess.
Right. I think
mean,
I don't
you
know.
know.
I think she makes more sense than Nikki or Ruby, which I guess are the other ones, unless you debut somebody in the interim. You know, but I guess they're probably going to save those people for the women's tournament now. So a
Oh,
lot
the
going
women's
on.
tournament. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, that should be pretty cool. We
You
still
know,
don't
when
know
that one's
when, but it sounds
on.
like it's going to be Cruiserweight Classic like. There's 32 women, so that's got to be probably multiple
I
weeks.
thought it said something about the summer, right? So
Right.
maybe July, like the
Which matches up with what they did. I mean, I think they taped the Cruiserweight Classic in June and July, and then it aired from like July until September. So that would line up, I think, if they wanted to have, and that sort of makes sense. Maybe they alternate years because that way they don't have to restock smaller guys or women every year. Maybe you alternate, you do a Cruiserweight one year, you do a women's the next. I don't know. I'm thinking way ahead of time, and that's all totally speculation. I have no information to back any of that up, but I'm excited about a women's tournament. So there you go.
Heck yeah, and who knows? Maybe they'll refresh the whole NXT scene, which will be really cool.
Yeah, that
And
would
the
be
main
pretty
roster scene for that matter.
Mhm.
So we'll see, we'll see. But anyways, back to this match. So it was
Yep.
fine. I thought,
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't hate it or anything. I am not gonna lie though, I did totally look away and
Well, I mean,
like,
it was a tough spot. I mean, I tweeted halfway through the tag match that like, God, this sucks for them, and I think they did pretty well. They kept the crowd with them, and I think being short helped. I mean, they made it like a quick, stiff, intense match instead of trying to tell some sort of long epic.
yeah,
But it was tough. I mean, especially people were really emotionally invested in the match of the night right before it, and then they had to go on afterwards. So
yeah.
I think you're probably not the only person that looked away a couple times.
Yeah, and so I felt a little bit bad about that, but I mean, at the same time, it was how awesome was it that that their offering for WrestleMania weekend was two ladies of color and like totally like I'm sorry, that was cool for me personally because being that I myself am a
Mhm.
person of color, that it was really nice to see. Maybe that's another reason why I like having Asuka as the champion, because I'm also Asian. So
There you go. I mean, I think I commented on it, whichever show it was where she retained and Nakamura won. I was at Brooklyn too. Is that where he beat Joe, or was it? I don't know.
yes.
Yes, I think so. Anyway, I mean, I don't think we don't give NXT quite enough credit for that. And and the Authors of Pain are Central Asian, I guess, or I mean, they're from some Slavic countries.
Albanian, I think one of them
Yeah, so
is.
they've got. I mean, definitely not straight white folks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, NXT does a good job with that. We talked about the other kinds of diversity, but they're also doing that. So, hat tip to Triple H. I have a love-hate relationship with you, my man, but you're doing some good
You know what?
stuff.
I'm fine with him as like a behind the scenes sort of guy. I don't need to see him wrestle though.
I've never. Yeah, I certainly don't need to hear him cut another 20-minute promo, even though I acknowledge he's pretty good at them. You know, that's
Don't even.
so. And I think he's
I could
kind
live
of,
with that.
and the mark picks with everybody kind of wear on me. Like I said, he is what he is. I mean, he's a consummate pro wrestling character. He's obviously in love with himself, and
Oh boy.
so anyway, but good job. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, that was pretty awesome that this was what, and and then you go to even the white women we got on the card in the opener were two different types that weren't supermodel stereotype.
Not
Yep.
conventional ladies, which was
So
really cool. Really cool. I
very,
think it's
very cool.
promising. There's your diversity. That's awesome.
Yep. So I'm excited to see. I think this was about setting up the next match. I'm all in on Asuka Flair, basically at this point with this cutting promos poolside with her mirrored shades on and stuff. So I think she's done a really good job with this transition. I think her English has gotten better, and she does a lot without having to say much too. So which is very smart. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think? Do you think she's ever calling up? Because that's the one rumor that's out there is like Asuka is going to be an NXT superstar forever. I don't know. I don't know what I think about that.
I don't think that makes a lot. I mean, like you have your Ty Dillinger, but Ty Dillinger has never been like the big star. So like having
And
him
obviously
be down there.
I mean, they book Asuka to never lose as opposed to Ty, who always loses. So
Mhm. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like if if for no other reason, she needs to fight the other 4 horsewomen. You know, she needs to
Right.
have fights against, like, come on, you want to see her fight Charlotte, right?
Yeah, she hasn't fought. I mean, the only one she's faced really is Bailey, right?
Mm-hmm. And she faced, I mean, it wasn't a 4 horsewoman, it was Emma. But, I mean, that was still one of her best matches,
Right.
was that one at London.
Yeah, that was such
that
a
was
fun feud too.
that
Yeah.
was a good show. That London show was one of my favorites, I think.
I love that show too because I didn't have to, it was in the middle of the day and I still had a full-time job then, so I didn't have to. I got our boy Dave Walsh to review it, so I actually got to just watch that one as a fan. Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about the future. No, about back to the ladies. One last thing.
Okay, sure,
I'm
sure.
excited I am excited about the future for the women for the first time in some time. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that. I'm
good
excited
point.
about the future for the women for the first time in some time. Even if that wasn't like the greatest match I've ever seen, it didn't matter because it was an indicator that it's going to go in a good direction.
Yep.
So anyways, and now for the main event.
The main event of the evening. It was long.
Oh God.
So I wrote in my review that this, since we were talking about Triple H, I love Bobby Roode, but he can remind me of Triple H, especially like in terms of like the way, and maybe Triple H is backstage agenting this match too, which might explain it. I mean, but that's to me, this one and Toronto, which I think I liked, not Toronto, San Antonio. I keep getting my chronology messed up. I think I liked San Antonio better.
I did.
I think they were very similar matches as opposed to the tag match. I know they did try to build on some stuff and do some different things, but it felt a lot alike. And being as the second version of it, I didn't love it as much. But I do kind of feel like they go along with these instead of, I don't know, instead of really instilling them with some creativity or something, if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, I also liked the San Antonio match with them better. But I will say one thing that I commented after the match. I think maybe the match might have been just finished or it was like right before the end of the match. Is just like, despite, I love Samoa Joe, but I think that Shinsuke's matches, I enjoyed his matches with Bobby Roode more, possibly because of the extremely different, like, method of storytelling.
Yep.
I like Bobby Roode's character because he does it so well, and he really seems very committed to it, and that is something I really appreciate commitment to character.
Yep.
And because every once in a while you'll see some stuff that doesn't make any sense,
right?
But
or you can always tell when a wrestler of either gender or singles or tag, you can tell when they've been given a gimmick that they don't believe in, or that they're sort of phoning in, kind of thing. It's one of the reasons that I always liked Cody Rhodes when he was in WWE, is because he always, even Stardust, which is a character he apparently didn't like at all, he went all in on it. So, and I feel like that's Roode, whether it's because it just sort of fits with his natural personality or what, everything he does makes sense with his character. And the entrance is a big part of that, and the song and everything, and that he's really made that work where, people want to cheer it, but he's made it about the fact that he's a dirtbag.
Well, you know what? Everyone wants to sing along with the song at the beginning, and that's fine. And then you get to the match, and then as long as he's getting his boos, that's what's important. Although he was getting, equally cheered in my opinion, because, it was definitely nice though to hear people chanting, rather than, let's go Cena sucks. It was, Yeah,
it was for both guys, not just we have differing opinions about one guy.
Nakamura, Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode, yep.
It was nice to hear the dueling chants as opposed to the, like, let's make it all about this one person, which I'm kind of hoping, is it too much to hope that tonight for Undertaker and Roman Reigns, you're not going to get, let's go Roman sucks, and you get Undertaker, Roman Reigns, wouldn't that be nice?
You might be able to get that, I think.
I'm hopeful. It's not, I'm not going to
Taker. I think people are going to, especially with the rumors that it might be his last match, I think he's going to get a lot of support. And I think Roman's still going to get the mixed reaction, but I don't know. We'll see. It should be. I'm interested in that match for a bunch of reasons. But
Yeah, I know you're gonna be watching it between your fingers because you're like, oh God, he'll die, he'll die, he'll die.
or it might only be 2 minutes long. I don't know.
No, it's not gonna only be 2 minutes long. I think it's all gonna be really cool. I hope it's gonna be really cool.
I think
God,
it
it's
will.
gonna suck if it's not.
I actually, I'm pretty confident. I think controversial opinion alert. I think Roman's capable of. Undertaker's so smart and has been doing this for so long, and Roman is a student of the game and physically gifted enough that they'll be able to work something out.
Oh no, I'm actually totally confident in. I'm totally confident in that they'll try to make something that makes them both look badass.
Yeah,
I really think that that's going to be the goal, and I really hope that that's the main event over everybody. Like, because I mean, if it is in fact his last match, it should go on last.
yep,
It should
absolutely.
go on last, and maybe there won't be a feel good moment afterwards, but can you imagine trying to follow that? It'd put them in the same place that like Asuka and Ember Moon. They had to go on after that badass tag match,
Yep.
and it's just like if you have to go on after. I mean, there is no match that's strong enough, in my personal opinion, that will bring a crowd back from The Undertaker is gone, you guys.
Yeah, yep.
There's nothing.
Certainly not Lesnar Goldberg, but
God, no.
anyway. So this may have been Shinsuke Nakamura's farewell.
Yeah. Maybe that's fine. I mean, what else can he do?
Yeah,
Because there's people who are ready to freshen up the scene, as it were. He's been around he's actually only been around for what, a year now, right?
a year. Yeah, he
Say
debuted
year.
last year. Yep, exactly.
It feels like he's been around longer though.
It doesn't it though? I mean, I guess he's been a main event fixture from the beginning. Well, he faced Aries at the end, but other than that, he's been in the title scene the whole time he's been there, and he's a 2-time champ. Yeah, I think it's time to go see how he translates to the larger audience. I think he'll be all right. I mean, a lot of his matches have felt the same, and I don't, some of the credit / blame for that has to go to him because he's the common denominator. But he's still, I mean, like I said in my review, 80% of Shinsuke Nakamura is still one of the best wrestlers in the world. His selling's inconsistent at times for me, and I know that's not really an original thing, but he is great at expressing his character in the ring, and he's, I mean, he goes, I mean, there's like, I get invested in him when he's pretending to be injured a lot. So it works for me. I don't know, just something about his NXT matches haven't been great after Zayn. And that might've been that it was new more than I haven't gone back and rewatched that one in a while.
Well, people still say that was one of the greatest, matches in the history of NXT. So
yeah, I mean, I think it probably holds up. I haven't seen it in a while. So, and I'm a big Sami Zayn fan too. So
maybe it's just that he hasn't clicked as well with the opponent. He just needs a different opponent.
I mean, like, as much as I love Bobby Roode, I think he's he's more of an old school kind of wrestler. I don't know that Nakamura, AJ Styles, you're not going to get that out of Nakamura, Bobby Roode.
No, of course not.
So,
no. Like, let's not be crazy.
Exactly. I know. I just, there's one that comes to mind because that was amazingly, that was in 2016 too, when the two of them faced each other at Wrestle Kingdom, which that seems like it was 5 years ago, but nope, that was just like 15 months ago.
Time.
So, I know, right? Well, there's so much is happening. There's so many different wrestling promotions, and they're all more visible, and it just feels like, I mean, this weekend has been obviously the most insane, but in general, it's kind of like that. I feel like it's like stuff just happens and fast, and people go, and I don't know. That was
I don't know. I mean, I didn't hate this match. I did feel it was kind of long. Mm-hmm. They both looked fine. Mm-hmm. The character work was great. I mean, it was fine. Okay, look, I'm not gonna lie. The show peaked with the tag team match.
Yeah.
The show peaked with the tag team match. That was the match I've been looking forward to basically since, honestly, probably back since Toronto. Like, I
Yeah.
think on the Toronto show, I said, wouldn't it be great if we had Revival versus AOP?
Yep.
And it happened. It happened, Sean.
And I think we talked about this.
Sort of.
I can't remember if we talked about it on Twitter or just in the comments on Cage Side, but I think we talked this match probably should have. I mean, the tag match probably should have main evented.
Yes,
And
it should have. And
part of that is because we're giant Revival marks, and if it is their farewell, they deserve that. And I understand you're not going to not give that to Nakamura, I guess. But in terms of building to the big finish, I mean, that would have made the most sense.
yeah, I mean, it was almost like you doomed the other matches to.
It wasn't as bad as trying to send that Owens Balor ladder match out after Bayley and Sasha in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, Ooh,
But
that
it was kind of bad. I mean,
it was disappointing and you were just kind of like, wow.
people
Yeesh.
would have had a higher opinion of the whole show if the tag triple threat closed. Although I guess, people would probably be complaining even more about the authors winning. They can't win. Yeah. But I think I would have enjoyed the show more if it had ended with that. Because I think you're right. I don't think, for me, I never tuned all the way back in after that match. That was what I wanted to see the most. It delivered, and everything else.
Dude, and
was
how
like,
I mean, not to knock the other people. They all did fine. Their matches were fine. It's just that when you follow something that was just like, oh my God. When you follow that, it just changes everything. It makes
Yep.
your match just pale in comparison. It's kind of like, how do you follow something that's just like, again, like why I think that they kind of have to put the Undertaker Roman Reigns match on last. Right. I cross my fingers for that, because like, how do you follow something that's just really awesome?
Right. And so
or
important.
Really deeply emotional.
Yep.
Just,
and I don't think Asuka or Rude's wins had the emotion, even that watching DIY and the Revival lose had. Like, we didn't. Authors retaining wasn't like a big fuck yeah moment, but we were sort of spent from having cheered for, whichever of the two challengers you wanted to cheer for. The fact that they gave their all and it didn't pay off sort of left people spent in a way that I don't think either of the matches ever really brought you back from. So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And yet it didn't. The show was not bad. It was actually a really good show.
I mean, and that's the thing with the takeover. I mean, especially, being 2.5 hours helps. I mean, especially as we get ready for 7 hours of Mania starting here in probably like 15 fucking minutes. Having it be concise like that, having it be 5 matches, I mean, even though we didn't love, it sounds like neither of us loved 4 out of the 5 matches on this show. We liked them for different reasons, to different degrees, but there was one match we loved and 4 that were pretty good.
They're fine. Yeah.
And when you cram that into 2.5 hours, that makes for a show that you never, I never regret watching that. That's like, I enjoyed myself for 2.5 hours with fun, good wrestling.
Same. Totally.
Win.
I did. Yeah. It was and I enjoyed myself. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you have to like add in the how much did I enjoy myself factor. Because like, if you go back to like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in February, that was honestly, that show sucked for me, except for the main event where Bray Wyatt won. That show was, but people remember it much better now because of how much they enjoyed that main event.
Right.
And I think if the main event had been in the middle of the show, they may not have had as great a memory of the show. So, I mean, anyways, it was.
Yeah, I think I would encourage NXT to consider switching up their formula a little more often, because it's just because it's the men's singles title doesn't mean it's the best feud or going to be the best match that you've got going.
Yeah,
it hasn't been for a long time, really, honestly.
No,
NXT's been about the women and the tag teams for 2 years now, more than about the men's.
So I mean, it's
which is awesome. It's one of the things we love about it.
Yeah, no, because it's a different type of showcase, which is really good. Because the men have a huge showcase on the main roster.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, gosh.
Yeah. Don't.
But
Yeah, that's a
I'm-
whole nother subject. Well, maybe tomorrow if I get Gino, if we do a CSL, I can have you run in. I'll just send you the.
well, that's Monday, huh?
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I am. I don't go into the office on Monday. So
Oh,
if you
nice.
really want
All
to,
right.
I can do that.
All
But,
right, let's see. He's probably listening,
but
so he'll
yeah.
tell me if he approves of that idea or not. He
Probably
does.
be like,
he does
don't you
hear
do
everything.
that, my God.
Well, I was good talking to you.
Oh yes, I've been looking forward to doing this show ever since the last one.
We should do every once in a while, especially if they do like if they don't do another one until Brooklyn. We should just have like a check-in in a couple months. Gino just hit me up in the cage side orifices to say nope, to hell with her.
Shame on you, Gino. Shame
He
on
doesn't
you.
mean it. That's all talk. That's all talk.
No, but yeah, no, we should do one then.
Yeah, just have the check-ins as well. I mean, we'll have. I guess they're going to tape on Wednesday, so we'll find out what's up with Cassius Ohno and Ty, and maybe McIntyre will debut there. That should be interesting. So
yeah,
good
gosh, I don't
times.
even know. You know what? Just like the last one, coming in at the very end is my cat Dawson, and Dawson has just come in here and like decided to punch me, jerk.
Yeah, he's
Anyways,
like, you gotta get off the air, Mom. Come on. That's a very Dawson thing to do. Just come on, stop. You're paying attention to people other than me for too long.
That's basically how he feels.
Yep.
But anyways,
All right.
It was great being with you again, Sean.
All right. Thanks. See ya. Thanks, everybody. See ya. Enjoy
Bye.
Mania.